Now I'm going to show you how you can create a layer directly in After Effects to use for your background layer. So let's open up After Effects and let's open my project, which is right here. So this is the project that I've been working on, and here's the beginning is here, and you can see I made this background that changes. So I will show you how to do that. You can make a background that actually changes with time just by creating a layer and applying some effects to it. So let's go open a new comp and make sure it's the right size. Let's just make it 5 seconds long because we're just doing a demo. Now, first I want to have a layer. You have to have a layer to apply effects to. So I want to go to Layer, New, Solid. And you need to choose a color. So I'm going to, once again, I'm going to say I want a nice color that would look sort of like a sky blue. Okay. Make sure it's the right size and make sure everything is correct, looks good. So there's my blue color. I'm going to fit it. Nothing is happening on this. Now once you have made a fill or a layer solid, you have this folder that says solids, and it's got every solid I've made in here plus the null, and we'll go into nulls later. But just know if you have made a solid, you can always use it in any other comp because you've got it in the file folder solids that's in the project window. So you can just add that same color solid. It'll be a new one every time. So here is my solid, and it's this color of blue. I am going to choose an effect that has a texture or shapes, because you really need to have textures or shapes to make this work. And let's close the libraries. I don't need the libraries. And I'm going to turn on the effects workspace so I can see my effects as wide as possible. Now, in your effects, you have several different effects that work really well to add texture or shapes. So I can go into Generate, which is here, and a real nice one down here is Checkerboard or Cell Pattern or Fractal. Or you can go down into Noise and Grain and add grain or dust and scratches or fractal noise or turbulent noise. These will give you some nice textures to work with. Or you can go under Stylize, and there's a nice couple ones down here. We've got Mosaic, we've got Texturize, so some different things that you can do. I'm going to use Checkerboard. So you double click on it and you see it puts a checkerboard up here. The checkerboard is going to be black and white unless you go in and change the blending mode. Either screen or hard light looks good. I'll go with screen. And then you can change the size of the different boxes. I'm going to make the boxes bigger. Let's get them to be, I'm going to give them a round number of 40. So here's some nice checkers. You could use the checkerboard just directly if you want to, or you can add another effect. So I'm going to say, let's add an embossment. You can either use color emboss or emboss. Let's try color emboss. That looks nice. And we can make the relief a little bit higher. So let's say, I think about 2 looks good. And let's say Yeah, the direction looks good. You can change the direction. You do a lot of stuff with this. So this looks good. Let's Command S, make sure that that's saved. And now I like using CC Kaleida. So let's go find CC Kaleida. I always forget where it is, so I have to type it into. There we go. So backgrounds. Here we go. Stylize CC Kaleida. Now if you click on CC Kaleida, double click, it applies it, and you see there's different types of mirroring, which means, you know, how does it repeat. So right now it's mirroring flower, but we can try the different ones. Unfold, looks a little different. Wheel, fish head, canmise, I never know what that means, but whatever. Flip flop, flower, diacross, flipper, and Starlish. Starlish looks pretty cool. So different ones work with different types of patterning. You'll find that out. But anyway, so we have this real interesting sort of effect here. And you can change the rotation. And if you change the rotation, you can get all kinds of different shapes happening, see? So I'm going to do another thing that I like to do, which is I like to get this back to 0 here. I like to keyframe the rotation and then go to the end, and then you can rotate it some. It doesn't have to rotate all the way around. You can do it one rotation. I think I'll do it about there. So now when it plays, it does this real interesting thing. So this is a good way to get an interesting motion in your background if you wanted to do that. You don't have to actually have it moving. So I'm going to do another one now. So let's close the effects window. Let's do another one. And this time we'll add layer, new, solid. And let's change the color to, well, let's just leave it the blue. What the heck. We'll just leave it the blue, Command S. And now let's try it with Fractal Noise, which is in Noise and Grain. And you see it turns black and white. We can change the type, the fractal type, and I think turbulent and spline. Try different things. Linear. You can get all kinds of different things happening. Dynamic twist is an interesting one. You can play with the evolution. And oh, let's get more contrast. That's what I want, more contrast. So we got some more contrast. And now and you can use turbulent displace. Make it a little bit more turbulent. So you see, you can do all these things, and then on top of this, once again, you can have these things. There's whenever you see an evolution, you can change these settings to get something happening. Or you can just leave it where it is, or just find a place you like better. And then the real fun thing I find is you can add some kind of a color to it by using Colorama. And Colorama, if you go to the output cycle, it has preset palettes. And there's some real pretty preset palettes like Carribean, which is just a beautiful, beautiful color. Or you can go to Sunset. You know, it's just, you get some really interesting things happening. So play around with it. Fire and smoke. So you can do some interesting things and get a very fascinating looking pattern. So once again, Command S to save it. And I'm going to go ahead and let's do an evolution. It's just so much fun to do evolution. So I'm going to keyframe the evolution, and then you have this, which is like really wild. Okay, so that's fun. So when you're trying to find ways to give yourself some kind of a background that you want to look at, these are some ways to do it.